All right, I'm really excited about this new old code book for my collection because I didn't even know this existed until I found it. This code book is the Dwelling Requirements of the Uniform Plumbing Code, 1988 edition. And so if you open this up to the preface and to the first couple pages, it'll talk to you about what this code is. And it says there are no changes from the 1988 Uniform Plumbing Code, that all this does is simply extract the plumbing codes that are applicable to residential construction and puts it in this document. And it also tells us that this is the very first edition. So this was the first time this book was published, and IAPMO, the International Association of Plumbing and Mechanical Officials, decided to create this. So very exciting, very cool book. So again, this is the residential version of everything that you get in this big old book, the Uniform Plumbing Code, see? So makes sense. If someone's just trying to build a house, they can use the one here that's just for dwelling requirements. So this is nothing new. You can see in this time, IAPMO was partnered up with ICBO for the building code. And you can see that, again, nothing new. There is a dwelling construction under the Uniform Building Code in 1988 as well. And so same thing. This is modeling, this is taking the residential provisions of the building code. And again, look how big that book is right there. So no wonder if you're building a home, you don't want to read all about commercial stuff. Again, nothing new because I've got a dwelling house construction under the uniform that goes back to 1946. So they've been doing this for a while. They actually just call this a pamphlet, trying to help folks boil down the larger code book. And other organizations were doing this as well, like the Southern Standard Building Code from SBCCI, 1969 edition I have here, and you can see they also had pamphlets, the house dwelling construction or dwelling house construction pamphlet. This is a 1976 version, so it goes back pretty far. Anyway, back to the plumbing thing. So interesting, 1988, IAPMO pulls out the residential plumbing codes and publishes their own book for residential plumbing codes. But bear in mind, back in 1971, IAPMO was very involved with the development of the very first 1 and 2 family dwelling code. This is the predecessor to the IRC. This is where the 3 legacy building official organizations came together and the insurance organization and their codes to write the 1971. This is the first edition of this book. And if you look in here, you can see a special recognition to IAPMO and for their uniform plumbing and uniform mechanical code. And if you look in the front, you can see all the codes that were used to create this kind of first IRC. And you've got the National Plumbing Code, that's from the Contractors Association, the Boca Plumbing Code, the Southern, and Uniform Plumbing Code. All right, so this went on and continued every 3 years like most codes, and there's a 1989 edition and a 1988. So for whatever reason, IAPMO decided to create this book, because if you look here in 1989, IAPMO is still involved, and the Uniform Plumbing Code is still part of this book. Now, they went on, Uniform Plumbing Code, and IAPMO did another one 3 years later, the 1991. Again, you can see ICBO and IAPMO. So, okay, stop. Woo, exciting. Now, the hunt is on. Is there a 1991 edition of the dwelling requirements? Question for my audience. Do you know, anybody? Is there a 1991 of this book? And how can I get a hold of it? Okay, so carrying on. 1991. Now, things changed. 1994, look, we only have IAPMO's logo, no ICBO anymore. So 1994 also questioned, did they do a dwelling code for this one? Curious, because that dwelling code idea kind of comes from the building code idea. So this one I'm less likely to thinking they did. Anyway, look what happened here, 1995, right? The split from IAPMO doing their own plumbing code. Now if we go to the CABO code and we open up to the front, we see Boca Code, Southern Standard Code, and the International Plumbing Code. So no longer is the Uniform Plumbing Code in 1995 being used for what would become the IRC. You can see that is because that's right around the time that ICC started being created with those 3 legacy code official organizations, and they had their 1995, the new International Plumbing Code. So there you go. There's kind of some fun history and information related to this new awesome book, Dwelling Requirements, Uniform Plumbing Code, 1988. Remember, tell me guys, is there a 1991 edition of this? All right, have a great day.